Oh, hi guys! I was just catching up on some latest news. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about fake news. We'll be doing a bit of reading, analyzing specific and implicit messages in the text, and critically evaluating information. Let's get ready, get your equipment ready, and of course, you will find in the video description all the links needed for this lesson, and of course you can stop the video at any time and do the tasks you're asked to do. Here is the list of links up ahead, and let's get started. Anyone can post whatever they want on the information superhighway. This is the reality we're living in today. So the internet is available to everyone, or almost to everyone. Let's warm up first. There is a little game here you can play, the BBC iReporter, where you will take the role of a journalist who has to check the facts before they are published. Also, I would like you to take a look at this short little video following the next link, BBC Fake News Challenge, about an experiment where they asked a group of young students, to say whether or which news out of the given items was fake and which one was not fake. After you have played the game and watched the video, let's continue with our lesson. So we're living in the time of corona pandemics, corona crisis. So your assignment is try to stop the spread of false information. And the one way of doing so is staying away from rumors. Only use the trusted site and only use the facts that you know come from trusted sources. Think and share. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions that I would like you to think about and share. And you can pause the video after you see all the questions. Think about them. And in this lesson, we'll try to check or answer these questions. Explain what is meant by the term false information. Where can false information come from? Identify 3 reasons why you think people share false information. List 3 ways you can check if something you encounter online is false. What impact do you think false information can have on people? Let's continue. What is fake news? So when I searched the internet, this is the first definition that I found. Fake news is an invention, a lie created out of nothing. And it takes the appearance of real news with the aim of deceiving people. But today, the term false information is preferable because it can refer to a wider range of disinformation. So what is false information? It is news, stories, or hoaxes created to deliberately misinform or deceive readers. So somebody is trying to mislead you on purpose. When the term fake news comes up, people usually think of social media posts with rather fantastic and implausible stories, and that is why the term false information is preferable today. Types of false information. There are differing opinions when it comes to identifying types of false information. However, when it comes to evaluating content online, there are various types of false or misleading news we need to be aware of. These include clickbait, propaganda, satire or parody, sloppy journalism, misleading headings, biased or slanted news. So use the Quizlet link and try to find out what each of these 6 items is, learn about it, and try to do some quizzes where you can check your understanding of the terms. You can also follow the QR link if you want to do it on your mobile phone. So, misleading, bias, clickbait, propaganda, satire, parody, sloppy journalism. Here are the definitions. So, are there stories that are not completely false? Sometimes reporters or journalists may publish a story with unreliable information. These are stories that are deliberately fabricated. Many people are drawn to news or stories that confirm their own beliefs. Stories that are created to deliberately mislead audiences, and lots of websites and social media accounts publish fake news. So let's look at the solutions. Satire or parody. So these are websites and social medias that publish fake news for entertainment. For example, The Onion, Waterfront Whisper, The Daily Mash, and so on. Biased or slanted news. It's the type of news that you're drawn to because it confirms your own beliefs or biases. Social media news tends to display news and articles that they think we will like, biased on our personalized searches. Clickbait. These are stories that are deliberately fabricated to gain more website visitors. So increase advertising. These are usually sensationalist headlines to grab your attention and make you click the link. Sloppy journalism. So we are talking about unreliable information used by journalists, like you could do in your BBC iReporter game. So if you published the item before checking, this is sloppy journalism. An example here, during the US election, fashion retailer Urban Outfitters published an election day guide. The guide contained incorrect information telling voters that they needed a voter registration card. And this is not required by any state in the US for voting. Misleading headings. Stories that are not completely false can be distorted using misleading or sensationalist headlines. So it's not a false information completely, but the way they're published, or taken out of the context, you get the false idea or the wrong idea. And propaganda, going back hundreds of years back, stories that are created to deliberately mislead audience, promote a biased point of view or particular political cause or agenda. So, let's practice some vocabulary. Bias, propaganda, satire, false influence. So let's look at the synonyms that we can use for these terms. You'll notice that there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 words, and that we're missing 5 words. This will be your assignment. So first, let's organize the words we have in the box above, and then your assignment will be to find an additional keyword for each notion. So, bias, favoritism, narrow-minded, and preference. What would be an additional keyword? Propaganda, brainwashing, promotion, spin. Satire, irony, sarcasm, spoof. False, fake, misleading, and dishonest. Pressure, influence, sway, and pull. So try to think of an additional keyword that you would add to this list. Let's continue. Another vocabulary practice. you have the 8 terms on the right, you have to connect them with their definitions on the left. So if you're annoyed because things don't happen how you want them to, you feel frustrated. An organization that protects the rights of workers is a union, causing you to feel anxious or worrying. Not fake, real, something that happened which there is information about. Fact, to affect how someone behaves. Influence, to believe that something is true, especially when it is bad. Accept, to form an opinion after carefully thinking about something. Judge. So, we're going to do a bit of reading. You're going to read an article about how pupils in the UK are using fake news in their schoolworks. Before you read, put true or false next to each of the statements below, and then scan the text using the link or QR code to find out if your answers are correct. So here are the statements. Pupils are creating their own news, fake news. 20% of teachers said that their pupils used fake news as fact in schoolwork. Teachers will need to teach children how to tell the difference between real and fake news. Pupils still believe that false news is true, even when their teachers tell them it is fake. Websites could get €1 million fine if they don't remove fake news posts, and most fake news posts will need to be removed quickly from websites. It's actually interesting if you watch that video, the BBC Fake News Challenge, to compare what happened in the video with these statements. Internet language. So the words content, posts, internet providers, social media, online, and websites. So where do we message? On social media. So messaging on social media is a typical way for young people to communicate. If you don't know the answer, find it online, of course. He wrote several posts that day about his trip to Mexico. Many internet providers can also sell you a TV and phone package. There are a lot of websites which offer cheap holiday accommodation, and social networks will have 24 hours to remove content that is illegal. So, real or fake news? Please read these 6 headlines and decide for yourself whether this is real or fake news. So, sharks found in New York basement. This was actually real news from HuffPost. Happened a while ago. UK won't take part in the Eurovision Song Contest from 2019. This is fake news. It was a news published on April Fool's Day in Pink News. 100-year-old fruitcake discovered near the South Pole and it's almost edible. This is real news. The cake probably belonged to explorer Robert Falcon Scott and was made by a British company. Pizza company makes heated letterbox to keep your delivery hot. This is fake news. This was also an April Fool's Day story in British newspaper The Daily Express. Blue dogs spotted in India. This is actually real news. Several news sites reported that dogs in Mumbai turned blue because of water pollution. And polar bears found on Scottish Island. This was fake news, another April Fool's Day story from a British newspaper, The Telegraph. So it is very important to check the story. Check the source. Is this a reliable website? unreliable. If you are not familiar with the website, check the author, the date, time, the address. Look beyond the headline, scratch the surface, read the whole article, don't just look at the headline. Check other sources. There are sources which help you check the facts. Is it fact or opinion? So look at the style the text is written. Is the author writing only about the facts, or is he giving his own opinion? Check your biases. So whether it corresponds with your preferences and that's why you're believing in it. Is it a joke? So does it look like a joke? Here are some fact-checking sites like Snopes, PolitiFact, FactCheck.org, or you can do a reverse search for images with tineye.com or imagesgoogle.com. Then, before you believe it or share it, check your own instincts. Does this look like something okay, true, or do you have a feeling that it's false? Visit Be Media Smart for more information. And now to you guys, some research work. You have 3 topics to choose from: deepfakes, false information in social media, and bursting your filter bubble. The first topic is deepfakes. Are you familiar with the term? You can do this research in groups of 3. I'll tell you that deepfakes are fake videos created using digital software, machine learning, and face swapping. Here are the 2 links that you can use to find out more about the whole idea. And here are the 3 statements or questions. How does it work? How to spot deepfakes? And when seeing is no longer believing, so the dangers of the deepfakes. What I would like you to do is write a short report on the topic, answering these 3 statements, and also do a Diamond 9 activity. So using this link, you can download the worksheet. So in groups of 3, decide which of the strategies used to discover false information could be helpful when discovering deepfakes. On top of your diamond, put the strategies that you find most helpful, and on the bottom of your diamond should be the strategies that you think would be least helpful. Of course, the whole group must agree on the placement of the strategies within the diamond. The second activity, false information in social media. Here are the 8 statements. I would like you to answer these 8 statements or complete these 8 statements that they are true for you. Share them with your colleagues, compare, and try to discuss it with others who did this activity. And activity number 3, bursting your bubble filter. This is an activity that you can do in pairs. So first of all, filter bubble refers to a phenomenon that occurs with many of the websites that we use. Platforms such as Google and Facebook use algorithms or mathematical equations based on our search history and personal information to personalize and tailor their services to us. In simple words, it means that, for example, you're searching for something on the internet today, and tomorrow when you open your search engine, you will see an ad trying to sell you the item you were searching for yesterday. So this is something that happens because of your filter bubble. So what I would like you to do is decide on what are the benefits and drawbacks to getting information online through a filter bubble, and give examples for each in the table. You can download the table from the link Filter Bubbles. So list the benefits of filter bubbles and the drawbacks of filter bubbles. The next thing I would like you to do is using this table, consider what search engine, apps, social media platforms, etc. you use to find out information about the world, your interests, and your homework research. These are sources you trust and use on a daily basis. So what I would like you to do in this table, make a list of these trusted sources inside your filter bubble. So all the resources that you use on a day-to-day basis to do your everyday work and activities. Next, consider how you might break out of your filter bubble. What settings could you review on the platform, search engines, apps you use? What people and organizations might you follow? What new perspectives might you seek out, and how could you find them? These would be the pins that would break or burst your filter bubble. You can download this second worksheet following this link, the bit.ly burst bubble. So, to go back to those questions we asked ourselves at the beginning of this lesson, explain what is meant by the term false information, where can false information come from, the 3 reasons why people share false information, list 3 ways you can check if something you encounter online is false, and what is the impact of false information on people. I hope I was able to answer all these questions for you. To conclude, you can follow this link, think before you click. There is an interesting cartoon that you can download and read from this link, which has also some questions that you have to answer. Before we part, please assess 3 things you learned today, 2 things you found interesting, and 1 question you still have. All the materials adopted with permission of linguahouse.com and WebWise.ie. WebWise.ie publication and introduction to digital media literacy connected. Here is a link to download, and thanks to the PDST, Professional Development Service for Teachers in Ireland. Hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and maybe we'll see each other next time. Bye.